actually a topic on pricing that this is the first time it's come up on the Founders and Builders podcast. So how do you go about pricing for a product where the impact that you have as you become stickier within the customer only grows over time and you become a key part of their workflow?
Impossible question, or impossible to answer question, because I don't know. I'll tell you how we think about it right now. And I think everything I'm about to say will be wrong in a year. So the way we think about it right now is we'll start with the propensity to create value, which is fancy words for saying the bigger your project, the more likely we are to help you, and that more likely we are to create value for you. So you pay in line with value generation. Right? So value discount pricing is a simple way of saying that. So the bigger the project, the larger the fee becomes on the NPLAN side. And most customers can see that. Nobody objects to that, because also that's how consultants would do it, right? The bigger your project, the more people we're going to send you, therefore the higher our fee is going to be. We're also just cheaper than consultants to start with, right? A consultant line item will be tens of millions, and we'll fly just underneath that. So as long as we're cheaper, the argument becomes harder to make. But I think all of this is kind of kindergarten level pricing. I don't love it. Our customers don't complain about it, but they don't love it either. What I want to get to is contingent pricing or bounty pricing, where I win as I find bounty for you. Just like Osama bin Laden, right? Like if I find Osama for you, you pay me a buttload of money, please.
Revenue share.
Right? Yeah. Revenue share, not so sure about that word. I'm using the word bounty as fairly purposefully here, because bounty is less precise. It allows you to play on both sides of the coin. In our world, a lot of it is a cost saving or a cost avoidance. Now, what is the revenue line of that? It's impossible to tell. These things were probabilistic. They were not guaranteed to occur. It's hard to model two scenarios, one with NPLAN, one without NPLAN in it, because these are all future-based events to occur, right? Nonetheless, there's an energy company we work with. They were planning on building a project in Australia where the project team said, we're going to build it this way. We're going to start the facility up with starting up the diesel generators, and then we'll start the facility that way. And then NPLAN said, oh, if you do it that way, $100 million loss on your table. Then the team were like, oh, okay, we have a better idea. Let's energize the substation first, and then we'll start it that way. Then we're like, ooh, $30 million loss if you do it that way. NPLAN came and said, actually, there's a third option that none of you guys have even thought about yet. Let's do it this way, right? Start with steam power inside here. And the team were like, that's weird, but it kind of makes sense. Let's look at it. If you do it this way, you're sitting on a 50 million gain, right? You'll gain 50 million back from the acceleration you get on this project. You've just gone from minus 100 to plus 50 in that. That's bounty. Like, I found that for you. I gave you that information. That gave you 50 million bucks back into your bank account. I should be remunerated for that in some fair way, right? I'm not saying I get a large chunk of that number, but even 0.1% of that number, I'll be happy with. And if I can do that at scale for hundreds of projects simultaneously, then you're really rocking and rolling, right? The customer is happy because the customer has now got something that they would have never had unless we existed.
I guess the challenge in that model, or just thinking out loud, might be, what do you set as that baseline?
It is hard. There is a reason it's not yet live. It's exactly...
But intentionally, it sounds like it's directionally in line with how your customers think about value. How would I have done it without NPLAN?
Yeah, correct. It's hard, but not impossible. And I already have a small group of customers that are willing to test it with us, right? They're like, I think we're comfortable with what NPLAN is and how it works. If we can juice this machine harder, all for the gain, right? Everyone gains.
What if we could cast our mind forward 10 years into the future? What does the world look like if NPLAN is as phenomenally successful as it could be?
The first is the call it like easy to recognize thing that hopefully my little daughter will be able to say is true, is the critical infrastructure we needed to build for the world got built, right? Like that's ultimately what has to happen. Shame on me if that doesn't become a reality and we're still hamstrung in these decisions at the top level. In the industry, that feeling will be a bit, that will also be true, but there'll be a different feeling or a different observation in 10 years' time. The first is there is now a de facto standard for measuring, quantifying, and understanding risk, and that is NPLAN. No one, we have it in our board pack. Every time we send out a board pack, we always put this reminder to all board members of NPLAN. This is what it will feel like when NPLAN is successful. And one of them says, NPLAN is the de facto standard. Like, you are stupid to not use NPLAN on your project. Just like you're stupid to not, for a bank to not do a credit check before giving out a mortgage, right?
Sure.
Or a credit card. Like, no bank in the world does it today. But back in the day, it'd be like, oh, how do you feel that Joe is when you go meet the bank manager in the branch? That's what construction is still like today. Right? How do you feel when you're with someone? And data doesn't play much into that. So that those two things will be true, right? Like, the critical infrastructure of the world will be there when we need it. And that will have massive effects across society. And two is when, for the people in the industry, there's a recognized standard that they all believe in, can trust, and it's part of the DNA of the infrastructure.